So welcome to Fish for Thought, and today's a special Fish for Thought with Dr. Mohan Chadag, who's going to be reflecting on his decade of work here at WorldFish on aquatic animal health and the One Health program. I think, as most of you know, Dr. Chadag is soon to retire, and as with all of the Fish for Thought sessions, we'll have a presentation, and then afterwards there'll be time for questions. So for those online, if you have any questions, please do pop them in the chat or raise your hand if you'd like to ask them directly. And for those in the room, we'll be passing around a microphone. So without further ado, I'll invite Dr. Mohan to the stage.
Thank you very much, David. Thanks, Assam, Charun, to all senior colleagues and junior colleagues and friends. I'm very pleased that I've been given this opportunity to reflect on the aquatic animal health program and what little we tried to do over the last 10 years. And I thought, let me stand here so that I can easily move around. And standing there would be very difficult to see turn the neck and see the screen. So I just thought, hope it's okay with all of you. And what I'll try to do is just give a very brief presentation on what really aquatic animal health is, why it's important to the WorldFish program of activities in relation to aquatic food systems, and why it should be nurtured and continued in the interest of the WorldFish mission and vision statements in the long run. Okay, that's the basis. So one decade exactly, 2014 March, I came to Penang and joined WorldFish on 1st of April, on April Fool's Day. So it's nearly exactly 10 years now, and I'm very happy because I found a very happy ecosystem in WorldFish to work with colleagues, friends, to work in different countries in Asia and Africa, and really interact with large numbers of fishers, farmers, policymakers, and interact with diverse range of stakeholders, and in the process learn a lot, not just fish pathology and fish disease and epidemiology, but overall, and develop the sense that how little we know when we compare to the vastness of the knowledge that's out there, how finite the time is with us. So that's what I realized. And with that brief intro, let me start. So very brief history of the fish disease program or the aquatic animal health program. You may not believe that 2014 fish health program was non-existent, and it's a little surprising because WorldFish, we were supposed to be the people breeding fish and doing genetic selection and disseminating across different countries in the Asia Pacific countries and also in Africa. So there was no aquatic animal health program, and there was a little of it under the livestock and fish program that was one of the CRP, but fish health was not there in the aquatic agriculture agri-food system CRP, which was there. But later in 2017 onwards, the fish CRP came into existence, and luckily fish health found a place in fish CRP along with genetics cluster and fish feeds cluster and also the systems cluster. So that's when the fish CRP, the fish health work slowly started. So. And later again, when we came for the resilient initiatives, then again, fortunately or unfortunately, health got excluded. But we found a place under the One Health initiative. So me, Jerome, and Laura could somehow, try to fit in some aquatic animal health work under the One Health initiative. So moving forward, I request that health be, considered a key component of the future programs, whatever mega programs comes up within the CGR and within WorldFish. So that's a brief history. And just to talk about this photo, which communications people have just put in. So normally any farmer, when he looks into the stocking material, the seed, he will have many questions. And the first question that will be going in his brain would be, is this fish healthy? Can I get the best crop? Would this get any disease? Are these fish, resistant to any specific pathogens? Or are these fish vaccinated? So these are the questions that would come in the mind of any farmer who makes a decision on what he has to stock in his farming systems. That's how important is aquatic animal health. But today, I think we are happy because 10 years of small components of work, excellent partnerships across several high reputed research institutions in the world, and a lot of donor assisted projects, and also a prominent place in the fish CRP, we were able to establish a fairly good program of work of aquatic animal health and One Health, both in HQ, in Bangladesh, in Egypt, and also to some extent in countries like Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, and Malawi as well, and also Zambia, minimum amount of work. And so today it's fairly a good and a sound program. And one good thing is I'm very happy today because the new bioscience program, fish health is one of the clusters, one of the research clusters. So that is a good thing for us. When it was non-existent 10 years back, but now it's one of the prominent research clusters within the biosciences division. So I hope it will continue that way. So disease, as all of us know, fish is no exception. Fish do get a lot of diseases, right from parasitic, fungal, bacterial, viral, and we lose a lot of fish stock. And if you look at the global estimates, they say around 10 to 12 billion dollars is lost annually because of the disease-related mortalities and disease-related losses. So disease is a major challenge, and more so for smallholder farmers and in low LMIC countries, where people are less prepared to understand disease, less prepared to handle disease, less prepared to go for suitable management options. So it's a real problem, and it's a major constraint for sustainable aquatic food systems, for sustainable aquaculture and farming practices. So disease is a major challenge. I don't think we need to write any long introductions to emphasize the importance of disease. It's very obvious. If you look at the shrimp industry, look at the tilapia industry, look at the carp industry globally, and also the other mollusk bivalve industries, you would realize disease has hampered development in many parts of the world. So what is the purpose of our WorldFish or CGR health program is mainly to see, can we really understand the disease in the commodities or species of our interest? And as all of you know, our primary interest is carps, tilapia, and catfish. Unfortunately or unfortunately, most of the investment for disease research and development has been on salmonids and on shrimp. And there's been very little or no investment on tilapia, carps, and catfish. That way, at least the CRP and the WorldFish programs and the bilateral projects which we managed to get, there is some, and most of work what we have done as a team is all focused around tilapia, carps, and catfish. The main purpose of our program was mainly to help the countries where we work, mainly to help the primary stakeholders as the farmers where we work, also generate scientific evidence so that that can be used by the policymakers, by the farmers, and to ultimately help in the building a good national aquatic animal health strategy at the level of the countries. And today, countries like Bangladesh, Egypt, they have even started and adopted a couple of national health strategy programs. So building capacity is very important, both in Asia and Africa, and our team has done a lot of work with respect to building capacity. And this photograph is about 13 students from Ghana and Kenya as part of our NORAD Aquatic Animal Health project, who received good mentoring from our team and from the Norwegian Veterinary Institution and others with respect to aquatic animal health. So this is just a background. So now let me very briefly take a snapshot of the key activities we have done. One of the main focus of ours for the last 8-9 years has been epidemiology. I think most of you would have listened to Laura giving excellent presentations on the epidemiology tools and how it's being used and how it's digitally accessible and all that. So in simple, what is epidemiology is studying disease in populations. Studying disease in an individual fish or an individual pond is of no use. It has to be studied at the population level so that you really understand what's the difference between a population that's suffering from a disease versus a population that's not suffering from disease. Then you can really identify risk factors, identify those issues associated with successful farmers, successful populations. So epidemiology is a very powerful tool in terms of understanding the farmer practices, farmer behavior, what influences which outcome. And this helps to really identify the circumstances under which a disease outbreak happens and it expresses. And in COVID, all of us have seen what are the circumstances under which it has got out of hand in many countries and many districts and cities. That's purely, so you have to understand that epidemiology is the only mean. And the power of epidemiology is without knowing the primary pathogen that's responsible for a disease, a lot of information can be gathered, a lot of management solutions can be introduced without even identifying the actual causative agent or targeting the causative agent. So this is where risk identification and risk management using epidemiological data sets is very, very powerful. And our team, we have done a lot of work in Egypt, Bangladesh, Nigeria, Kenya, and Ghana. And I'm very happy that the evidence of that is available in the form of 3 peer-reviewed papers for Egypt, for Bangladesh, and for Nigeria recently as part of outputs from our team. And this tool which we have produced along with the Norwegian Veterinary Institution, who are one of the OIE referral centers for aquatic epidemiology globally, this tool is being widely used now in many of the countries. And this has gone through a lot of revisions. And Laura and Jerome are working on that. And now we hope that in future, more and more projects and activities would use this tool to gather information on the farmer behavior, practice, production practices, disease outcomes, then finally use it through statistical analysis to see what works, what doesn't work, and compare different outcomes, successful farming systems versus unsuccessful farming systems, and try to understand the influence and impact of disease. So epidemiology is a very powerful tool. And if you combine epidemiology with diagnosis using biological samples, so if you really collect biological samples also from these populations which are suffering disease or not suffering disease, and try to understand the prevalence of pathogens, whether they're really causing disease in those populations, and you combine diagnostics and epidemiology, this is a very powerful tool for proper decision making. And again, with diagnostics, our team has done a lot of work with respect to diagnostics, right from simple clinical sign-based diagnostics up to molecular genome sequence-based diagnostics. So we have gone through a wide range of diagnostic tools and techniques. And again, happy with all the sort of major publications, including one very interesting paper where in collaboration with the Mahidol University in Thailand, where they developed a technology to concentrate virus from the water and then look for the presence or absence of some of the nasty pathogens like tilapia lake virus. So this becomes a very important non-invasive sort of a approach to look for presence or absence of pathogens. Just like the quality of data in epidemiology and the quality of because the quality of data in epidemiology is very important. If the interviews are not performed properly, the surveys are not conducted properly, you may not get high quality data to do good analysis and come up with consistent results. Same is true with diagnosis. And even during COVID, we have seen how wrong sampling can really give wrong results. So sampling is very, very important. And I think our team has spent a lot of time to create a lot of knowledge products around the art and science of sampling, how to really sample. And it's very common practice. If you talk to any of the fish health workers in most of Asia and Africa, what they see is farmers coming with a dead fish, department officers coming with a dead fish to a lab. So things like, the simple things like dead fish cannot be used for any disease diagnostic samples. You need to really have a live or a moribund sick fish for all disease diagnostic analysis. So diagnosis, the sampling of fish is vital for a proper diagnosis. If you have to understand whether it's a viral disease, whether it's a bacterial disease, and if it's viral, which disease, So this is very, very important. And this is one project again on the molecular diagnostics, which Jerome and our team won from the CGR Inspire Challenge long back, based on the sequencing technology and how that can be used for rapid and specific identification of pathogens. And surveillance. This is again a very important component of our work and also overall globally surveillance. All of you would have heard this word surveillance with respect to COVID, Ebola, and all this. People are interested in finding out what's happening to the population, whether the pathogen is still there, whether the disease is still there, or has it disappeared. So surveillance is very important. If you look at one or two examples, 2-year surveillance work in Bangladesh clearly showed tilapia lake virus is a very serious threat to the future of tilapia industry in Bangladesh. And we have to alert the Department of Fisheries, other policymakers to take the appropriate steps. At the same time, you can see this also, and people in Bangladesh, those of you familiar with Bangladesh, you would know that there is no monoculture of tilapia, very few. Most of the farming systems in Bangladesh is polyculture. So tilapia farmed along with carps. So this study, our study also clearly showed tilapia lake virus is not detected in cyprinids or in carps. So this is where the surveillance type of work over a longer period of time, systematically done, can help to roll out many of these questions which people might ask. Okay, it's killing tilapia. Does it kill also carps? So this is the type of work which we have done, and also some of the genotyping and working with partners on developing global guidelines on 12-point checklist for surveillance, how it should be sort of properly planned and done. Then understanding genetics and disease interactions. This is the work with John's team and Roslin Institution and others. Really, people are more interested in seeing whether they can get not only improved variety of fish, but also improved variety of fish which is resistant to some of the specific pathogens. So our team is involved with this, and a lot of interesting publications have come out. And there is even the indication that it's possible. Again, John will be telling sometime how it may be possible in future to come out with not only fast-growing tilapia, gift tilapia, but maybe those with some resistance to tilapia lake virus, which is a very serious pathogen, which is presently even listed by the World Organization for Animal Health. So that's a very serious pathogen. Only serious pathogens get listed by the World Organization for Animal Health. So a lot of good work has been done between the genetics and disease interactions, and Roslin Institution and others were very, very good partners as well. Microbiomes. This is a new concept which is gaining a lot of importance. Like, what is the sort of the profile of microorganisms in any aquatic system? What's that on the fish skin? What is there on the fish gut? And how does that determine the health of the fish, health of the environment, and at what times and what conditions the dynamics of the microorganisms in the aquatic systems changes? And can some of that be used as indicators for predicting disease? Can that be used as indicators for predicting the quality of the water? So a lot of work is going on microbiomes, and even our team is involved, especially with the Exeter University and Queensland and others in doing work. And some of the students also, PhD studentships, which were carried out in Bangladesh, even they have done some very interesting experiments to look at how even application of antibiotics in the water can alter the microbiome profile on the body of the fish, and whether it's for good or for bad, that type of studies. So microbiome is a very interesting concept. And recently I was reading about the mega programs and some discussions in the notes. There is a mention of microbiomes in the discussion. So there is possibilities of including microbiome work in aquatic food systems, or in at least farming systems, and their role for future activities. One Health, I think this is again a buzzword now. Everyone is interested in One Health, environment, human beings, and the animals. For us, it's fish. But the main task for aquatic food producers and aquatic food system promoters like us is how can we get food which is safe for us from a disease point of view. Is can it be safe from zoonotic pathogens, that is pathogens of fish getting transmitted to human beings, foodborne pathogens, post-harvest handling and spoilage bacteria, they are coming into the system, contaminants, residues of pesticides or others, and even antimicrobial resistance. So these are very serious concerns. And if you were to produce fish which doesn't meet any of these criteria, in future there will be a lot of problems to claim that the food produced is safe. And many of you may know that certification of farmed food is gaining importance. So in another 10 years, there may be even requirements for certified farmed fish, as it's happening now in shrimp and other things. So aquatic animal health is important, because the One Health, you clearly see the relationship between the health of the animals, environment, and the our animals, fish, and the environment is very nicely interconnected. So any disruption to one in the system can disrupt the other. So it's very important that proper balance has to be maintained between the three components in this One Health. And this is one new area which I think we should develop, One Health aquaculture. And the new person who is coming to replace me also, Dr. David Warner Jeffrey, he's an expert on One Health. So I'm sure this area can be developed further within the WorldFish programs. Here again, our team was very happy to tell that our team was successful in bringing out many publications, mainly bringing the systems thinking approach and also the food systems approach long before. Even 2017, 2018, we were already thinking of the food systems approach and also the systems thinking approach, as to see what are the different pathways, how antimicrobial resistance develops in the farming systems, how that gets, how humans get exposed to these subsystems, what are the mechanisms, what are the intervention points that are available to intervene and introduce management methods. And we have done a lot of collaborative work with very, very good institutions, including Scotland Resilience Center, University of Waterloo, Canada, and all this. Even in looking at Southeast Asian food systems, if you take the entire region as a whole, and the food system as a whole. What are the places where AMR could be a major issue, and what sort of policy directions are needed to look into the One Health system. So systems thinking approach as well as the food systems approach are very useful to look at these bigger pictures. AMR and One Health, again, the first one is the recent paper where we looked into the fish that's being marketed in the wet markets of Bangladesh and see to what extent they are contaminated with some of the human fecal contaminants like Salmonella and E. coli, and whether such bugs which have human health significance, do they have any have they developed any antimicrobial resistance? So again, techniques like sequencing techniques and things that have been used. So multiple diagnostic tools, systems approach, food safety, things like that are combined in papers like this, which very clearly demonstrates the groundwork that's been done now in the last 10 years with respect to the aquatic animal health program within WorldFish. And also very good work done also with respect to creating awareness. Several video type of education messages have been done, especially in Bangladesh with respect to antimicrobial resistance, and also creating this antimicrobial resistance stewardship programs within the farming community. Knowledge products, again, thanks to our team, we have produced a lot of knowledge products, all can be accessed on the mobile. And this we are trying to promote in all our partner countries and program countries and with the donors and partners so that it's widely used. All very simple, easy to learn, easy to use learning tools on how to conduct surveys, how to conduct syndromic surveillance, how to do fish sampling, how to do simple biosecurity audits for your farming systems, how to what are the clinical signs for diseases. So these type of products, they look very simple, but they're very powerful in terms of giving the knowledge and giving the awareness to the right kind of stakeholders. Final thoughts with respect to aquatic animal health. I think I really request that whatever we have done over the last 8, 9, 10 years, let there be let this be used as a foundation to build a stronger aquatic animal health, or we can even call a One Health program within the aquatic food systems. This needs to be really supported and nurtured by both WorldFish and 1CGIAR. And core support is a must, because what I sincerely feel, it may be my personal comment, but lack of consistency and changing directions in the long run impacts the research program, the team spirit. The team members get sort of frustrated. Long-term research partnerships. You develop a long partnership to work on microbiomes with Exeter University, for example. 2-3 students register for PhD. Then if there is no program, how will you finance them? How will you fund them? It becomes, and we also lose our credibility to be seen as a leader. So this we have experienced. That's why I put it. So it's very, very important how we promise 3-year studentships and we can only pay for 2 years. We cannot pay for the 3rd year. So this is very risky. So that's where I think some degree of consistency is good if you have to develop a long-term program, be it nutrition, be it genetics, be it systems, be it disease. I've been also asked by Assam just to say a few words about the India program. India program also was almost non-existent. Before 2016, we had a very small collaboration with RGCA, Rajiv Gandhi Center for Aquaculture in Andhra Pradesh for the genetic with the gift tilapia. Then 2016 onwards, we established a very strong relationship with ICAR, Indian Council of Agriculture Research, working with the aquaculture institutions in CIFA, the small-scale fisheries with SIFRI in Barakpur, West Bengal, and CIFT Cochin with value chains and human health and public nutrition. And ICAR has been a very strong supporter of us. And then we worked very closely with several state governments, Government of Odisha, Government of Bihar, and Government of Assam. So in India, we were able to really bring in a very nice mixture of premier national institutions, which are the national research institutions, who are the counterparts for CGIAR in the country, and the state governments. And the model in India, interesting thing is 90% of the funds in India has come from the government funds, not from donors. So this is a lot of money, but all the money has come from donors. The only donor money is the GIZ small fish project. All other money is purely come from the government departments and their own funds. Just so that shows their willingness to take up CGIAR tools and technologies, the willingness to look into WorldFish tools and technologies when it comes to aquaculture. And many of you would have seen the recent fish consumption report, which is released now. It's really making headlines, and a lot of interest right from the Indian Ministry, the Planning Commission, the Niti Aayog, So everybody is asking about, and I think David is looking into the links. So many papers have put it in their front pages, how the fish consumption story, which WorldFish team produced along with the IFRI and the Indian researchers. So that's I think if you have to really get long-term impact, I think even our major synthesis papers, reviews, and strong publications must be done with the national teams, like the directorates of fisheries or the universities. Then I think the impact is more compared to only me and Jerome publishing something. It should be with the teams. That way, I think it's more powerful, more impactful. I think and also gives more credibility to the institution and organization. Okay, anyway, this I will not go to, but in the India program really developed very fast. I'm very happy and proud of that. And today it's very well managed by Arun and his team. So very happy that I was able to initiate right from 2016 onwards and build it up slowly, steadily. And today it's a very strong program with more than 6 projects operating and maybe few more projects coming up in later years. So what are the lessons with respect to a country program? It might be of some use if you're looking into new country programs. One important thing which I must acknowledge here is early investment. WorldFish made a lot of good early investments in the very beginning by sending all senior staff members like Mike Phillips, Gareth, all the senior staff members, John, Shakuntala, to go and really interact with the policymakers and convince them that there is something in this collaboration. So why don't we really collaborate? So early investment really helps. And then on, working with champions within the departments of fisheries, and the resilience of the project team, because the project team had to undergo a lot of stresses and strains, but constantly mentoring them and making sure that they are there. They're not running away from the challenges. That was a big task. And embedding in the system. I think we found the entire Indian team being embedded within the Directorate of Fisheries, within the ministries, within the co-locating them in the district level with the departments. That helped a lot. And we have seen the difference between embedding versus CGR operation in a separate air-conditioned entity versus being embedded. We have seen a lot of difference, and working together and being embedded, the work culture and ethics of our team members could influence the work culture and ethics of the national directorates and departments. So this is a big impact for me. Then understanding the pulse of the government partners, how do we really work with them closely, and generating evidence. There are so many good evidences we have generated with respect to gift, early breeding of major carps, early breeding of small indigenous species, carp monoculture, reservoir cage culture. All this now has led to several policy changes. And one of the best policy changes, women self-help groups getting long-term lease from for the public water bodies where they are doing polyculture of carps along with small fish. Many, and also reservoir policy for cage culture. So a lot of policy changes have taken place in India, largely, if not 100% are related, largely because of our intervention and our work in India, and convergence. This is one good thing. What we have seen in India is a very good convergence, very good. Otherwise, most of the places we will be working only with the Directorate of Fisheries, but this is only place where we worked with water resources, worked with women and child development, worked with Department of Mission Shakti, Department of Irrigation. So this is where the convergence has really led to a lot of unlocking of resources and unlocking of the capacity of the institutions. Otherwise, each institution is in silo. They work and it's not going in a good manner. So convergence has given us a lot of importance there. And compliance of us when we were dealing with projects and reporting and milestones and all that. This has increased our credibility, and we are seen as a reliable partner by governments of Odisha, government of Assam, government of Bihar, and now Uttar Pradesh is also asking for a big support from us for a World Bank project. So the governments state governments talk to each other and they find out, okay, what's the they do their own due diligence and find out, okay, these guys are able to deliver, these guys are able to do something. So I think these are the very important if you're developing a country program. And bringing research and development agencies together. Normally in India, ICR normally doesn't work that closely with the Department of Fisheries, but when we are there in between, there is a very good relationship between the ICAR, which is the research institution, and the Directorate of Fisheries, in the respective states. So that's a very big plus point, because we are seen as a facilitators or mediators for this type of work. Okay, the WorldFish Board of Trustees for both the activities for the India program, World Board of Trustees recognized us in 2018 through a WorldFish through a board award, and also for the disease and genetics work, especially the work on tilapia lake virus. I think 2021 Board of Trustees recognized the work done on tilapia lake virus. So two recognitions from the Board of Trustees with respect to the India work as well as the tilapia lake virus disease work. Project management tips. This I think Rajita wanted me to just say one or two words on project management. So this is nothing new. I'm not a management guru or anything, but being consistent, being simple, being solution oriented, keeping a clear list of tasks, and being very patient and doing things one by one in a systematic way. I think that's the easiest. We might have a lot of MEL support, that support, this support, but ultimately it all boils down to the individuals and the project leaders to really take care of their projects. I think the ownership is very important, and we should be in a position to give ownership to our team members, to the partners, so that they feel happy, they feel recognized, they feel included. I think these messages cannot be, taught. These messages to come from our own learning and our own thinking how best we can manage projects. But ultimately, it all depends on what's your commitment to deliver each of the responsibilities. It can be a simple report submission, or it can be a bigger proposal submission. But ultimately, that's what counts. And all other things will definitely help and augment the process. Project management unit, the other OCS, and everything will help. But we cannot just because we have an MEL, we cannot just say, okay, MEL will alert me. No, that's that way. I think you cannot succeed in doing a project. I think everything is there, but we need to really be on top of our projects. Then only MEL and other things will come. That's my thinking. Okay, so acknowledgements. I think for the health work, I think I must recognize and acknowledge Dr. Michael Phillips, who was my supervisor, and also John Benzi, who was my supervisor, and my team, Jerome and Laura here in HQ. In Bangladesh, one Dr. Partho, who is now in Bangkok, then Sabrina and Shafiq, and in Egypt, Shaima Ali, and to some extent even Rose was supporting our work in Zambia and Malawi. So I must recognize all of them. And I'm also indicate that Dr. David Werner Jeffries from CFOS UK will be joining us in another 2 weeks' time as a senior scientist aquatic animal health. So I request that he be provided the same level of support and friendship, and so that he can come and settle well and immediately start moving this program further. And for the India work, I think I have very big thanks to Dr. Arun Padiyar and the entire team in India, because they have been working tirelessly to keep the program going, and also keep all the staff employed and manage the program there. I think with that, let me thank you and just conclude one by saying I began my aquatic journey in 1975, maybe when many of you would not have been born anyway. 1975, as a fisheries college student in the College of Fisheries in the Agricultural University, 1975, and I'm very happy to be retiring from WorldFish in 2024 after nearly 49 years, entering fisheries as a student and retiring from WorldFish as a principal scientist. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now open the floor to any questions. Anyone have a question they'd like to? And if anyone online has any questions, please pop them in the chat to raise your.
Mohan, thank you so much for this really exciting overview of all that you've been able to achieve in the last 10 years here. And you mentioned that when you started here, the world of One Health and animal health, especially for tilapia, et cetera, was really nascent, and you've been able to achieve a lot. If you think 10 years ahead, what are you hoping that we will have discovered or achieved, or what would fish farming look like from an animal health perspective in your 10-year dream?
That question answered. But being involved in 10 years, if there are good solutions towards carbs, tilapia, and catfish in terms of improved breeds which are resistant, which are resilient to some of the climate variables, and if possible, some of the vaccine type of research, I think that would be ideal for the farmers and the stakeholders in the LMIC countries, because these three are very important commodities: tilapia, catfish, and carbs. And it's been largely neglected when it comes to aquatic animal health, not just aquatic animal health. You just see the amount of money that's being put on shrimp and salmonids. And today, salmonid industry is right at top. And look at the investment that has gone into that. And today, no farmer can put salmon smolts into the cage without vaccinating them. It's mandatory in Norway to only stock vaccinated animals to the cages. Even in not even in human beings, the vaccine have been made mandatory. There are many lobbies which oppose vaccines, but in salmonids, it's very strong. So I think that level we cannot reach, but at least we can aspire for a good health management package for carps, tilapia, and catfish, along with improved varieties, improved strains. I think that would be the best for us. Especially if we can build in some of the resilience aspects, salinity, temperature, all these resilience aspects, better food conversion efficiency, then I think it will be very good for us in the next 10 years. Thank you.
There's a question online from Zalzi asking that as a scientist, how do you juggle the balls of being productive in research and doing well in project management?
I don't think I have done that well, but what I mean is, as I told, I have a long list of items to do, which I keep as a list, and that is helping me a lot. I think just a checklist of things to do, and I strongly believe in now and today, not tomorrow. So whatever, if somebody asks me something, if I try to do it now and today if possible, but not say, okay, let me do it tomorrow. That's one tip. I think that has helped me a lot. The second tip, which some may not like, is keeping my inbox clean so that I can get a good night's rest, sleep. I never keep my inbox. My inbox, when I go to bed, it's always clean. There's not even one email that is left. So that has helped me a lot. And the third thing, if you ask, that thing that really helped me is very consistent and systematically managing all folders, files, and tasks in such a way that you do not have to use the search function to look for a missing file or look for an email, which in 99% of the cases, the search function gives you all things which are not relevant, which are not the one you are looking for. So, but if you have properly organized it, you really get what you want, so you don't lose any time. And the desktop is also very clean. So keep the desktop clean, keep your inbox clean. I think that's the, and do today and now and today. These are my three sort of maybe principles. That's from my working style anyway. I'm not saying it's a must, but
Yeah, thank you so much, Mohan, for very nicely structured presentation that connects from very basic research to development in the diverse context. And most importantly, I just recall that the point you mentioned, that it's nearly 50 years of your career. Last 20% of your time was with WorldFish. That's fantastic. A lot of the experiences and expertise were brought here within the WorldFish to work. Yeah, this is really nice. And apart from this, a lot of other things, I think these were not included. You're heavily involved in the many aquaculture project activities. So this is another part of the things that you contributed a lot to different projects. And fortunately, I had a chance to work with you in the different projects and different occasions. Really great. And this is really nice for organization and really good. And you're happily retiring after quite a number of years, 5 decades of experience in the field. That's great. And I don't have any comment or anything. Thank you so much once again from our side. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mohan. I'm just going to hand over to Verinder now.
Thank you. Well, firstly, Mohan, just to say a very big thank you for that presentation. It was brilliant to hear from you in terms of your experience or your learnings or your top tips. Keep our inboxes clean. Just really brilliant. Thank you. Now, you may be wondering, why is Verinder come up on your Fish for Thought conversation? And of course, that's because we cannot let you leave quietly. And this is a big moment for you, almost 50 years as a career, 10 years at WorldFish. And we wanted to take the opportunity to say thank you, to recognise you for all of your time here. And so we are now going to spend the next 20 minutes or so just as a WorldFish team saying some thank yous. So I'm firstly going to call up some colleagues. So if I could ask John, Jerome and Laura to come up initially. And I'm going to go and bring you a chair, Mohan, so you can stay there.
So I believe we've each got a few seconds to say something. You'll be relieved it's seconds. And I have to say, I first encountered the Mohan Vishnumurthy Chadag in 2009, not in person, but I was requested by FAO to present a paper that he was going to provide to a big conference in Guadalajara on agricultural biotechnologies for developing countries. So that was my first consciousness of this man. I had nothing to do with getting him here. That was Mike Phillips and others. But I want you to look at this space, not these guys, this space. Because 10 years ago, that was what WorldFish had in terms of animal health. No one. And he was the appointment made to start to build it. And he's built it. And I'm very, very pleased about how you did that. And it wasn't just the discipline. You've shown how to develop a much broader range of activities in India, which provides a hugely important base from which WorldFish can further develop if it keeps its head and puts one foot in front of the other correctly. Not that we do that all the time. But Mohan, thank you very much. I very much enjoyed your working with you. Very much enjoyed how you've been able to build things, and wish you the best in your future endeavors. I'm now going to pass to the people that you've mentored.
So Mohan, first of all, wonderful presentation. I think it really showed the breadth of all the work you've done before us and with us. And sorry, I put it in a few sentences. This is my style. So I think I'm talking for a lot of people here, but I would like to sincerely thank you for everything you taught me, and you taught many of us here at WorldFish for all the years you spent in service at WorldFish. I think you've brought successfully so many people together, providing us the opportunity to collaborate with incredible talents from various cultures across multiple continents. It's been a privilege to be working under your leadership and mentorship. And I think we will all agree that Mohan kindness, humility, patience, and guidance have been central to the success of our team, our health team, but also to all of us as individuals, and most importantly, WorldFish as an institution as a whole. I think you inspire us in many ways how you plan, I think you said it, and execute your work, and how you collaborate with colleagues and navigate complex situations with diplomacy. I think this is something that I will, myself and Laura and many others, will remember in situations where we might want to take a different direction, is to remember to stay composed and to deal with the situation as it comes. I hope that we can retain this lesson and continue to put them into practice in the future. You will be dearly missed at WorldFish, but I'm confident that there is many plans for our colleagues to keep you still engaged in some different roles, because your guidance and expertise is important. Mohan, we sincerely appreciate you, and we wish you all the best in the next chapter of your life with your family. Enjoy your well-deserved retirement, and stay well and stay in touch.
So I only have 30 seconds to give my speech. So there's a lot I want to say, but essentially I'm very grateful to have had the opportunity to have you as my supervisor ever since I joined WorldFish in 2020. So I'm very lucky. And, we all know him as Mohan, but his name is also Vishnumurthy, and Vishnu is one of the trinity of Hindu gods. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Vishnu means the preserver or protector. So I think he has lived up to that name, because, he always finds time to manage his staff well. And his door is always open. We can always go in, share with him our concerns, have that discussion at any time, and he's always welcoming. So, and I'm guilty of some of those lately. So thank you, Mohan, for always welcoming us into your room. And when he's not in his room, apparently he's also a lunch hour sportsman. If some of you know, he's quite the competitive ping pong player, as his opponents will tell you. And he has that fun side of him. And so, to cut everything short, after my 3 years of working here, I'd like to thank you, Mohan, for giving me the opportunity to join your team, to jump from an industry background into WorldFish and to see how you lead by example, how you communicate well with everyone in spite of all the stresses, the projects that you have to manage. And I've seen you do that very well in spite of all the challenges. So I think we have a lot to learn from that. And also, I thank you because you have a knack for identifying what's special about a person, what they are able to do, and you help and encourage them to grow for themselves and together with WorldFish as a whole. So for that, I thank you. And I don't want to say farewell, but I like to say I'll see you when I see you. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. So we now have some colleagues. You mentioned them earlier, Mohan. So we are now going to be joined by Arun, Shafiq, and Sabrina, who are joining us from India and Bangladesh country offices, and they should be joining us now.
Yes, thank you so much. Greetings to all of you. What to say, where to start, where to end, I really don't know. I have 3 minutes to tell about my 30 years of association with Mohan sir. So thank you very much, sir, for all your guidance for every one of us. I have actually written down a few points, but just a little bit emotional today. So friends, we are in the knowledge economy. In this, both teachers and researchers play important role for betterment of people and planet. And I have seen both an excellent teacher and an excellent researcher in the shape of Dr. Mohan. So therefore, if I just invoke Indian, our culture and our Sanskrit language wisdom, we first pray to God as Om Shri Hari Guru Bhyo Namaha. Hari and Guru means both God and Guru. Guru means teacher. They are all respected. We pray for blessings to continue to give us the wisdom. So thank you so much, sir, for that. Guiding us, especially me for last as your student, as your junior colleague, to develop India program to this level. And sir is very much kind of involved, and he was instrumental in putting the foundation, excellent foundation, strong foundation for India program. In the days to come, India will be a crown jewel for WorldFish, I'm sure, for that matter, and it will perform very well, I assure you. Sir, with your knowledge and humbleness, you are like a sun, radiating the energy all in the solar system. And it is for us, and you never set. There is no retirement for you. Sun never retires. And it is for us to follow you so that you never set. It is only the human beings, we will try to follow you, your guidance, we continue to take. And with these few words, I wish you all the best in your future life, a happy and healthy time ahead with your family and India, and we meet together again and again. Please come to Odisha and other places in India. Thank you so much. All the best.
Thank you. Well, yes, I think I started my work with Mohan since 2021, so it is almost 3 years. This is compared to Mohan's experience is nothing, but I have learned a lot from his supervision and mentorship. Especially the way he designed, and especially that there's a magic, something magic happens when something goes to Mohan, because he make it very simple. He make it very easy to understand. That's one of the things I think we very important to learn from him. I'll bring a little bit of human things behind this as well, because we all know his experiences and his contribution in this field, especially when my little one was very, very sick. The support I got from the Mohan was unbelievable. I'm really grateful, and I would like to acknowledge that one in this in this forum actually. So yeah, so Mohan, great job you have done. Farewell and very best wishes for your future. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hi, Mohan. Sabrina here. It's a pleasure to work with you in around 2 years, and I always found you very calm and patient. I sometimes I become so frustrated in some research and impatient, but whenever I talk to you, and you always have some easy solution for me and my other team members. So yeah, wish you all the best for your future, and of course, we want to continue the One Health journey that you have showed us in future and very nicely. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much all. So we now have, it doesn't end there yet, Mohan. So we now have a short video that we would like to play. So over which our communications team pulled together. So over to you. Now we'll be handing over to Assam, who would like to also say some words.
I'm sorry about this. The torture continues. Please sit down. No, thank you very much, Mohan. I think it's quite a few people describe me as being very forgetful in life. But there are some people that you meet and you remember where you were when it was. And the first time I met Mohan was in Gobi Room on January 28th, 2020. I vividly remember that day. I came from London for my job interview to WorldFish, and I was escorted by Azima after my interview to meet a group of scientists. And I think Mohan's task, I was not told that, but I believe your task was to organize and coordinate that discussion with the candidates. And I left the room with this feeling of sort of, the warmth and kindness, Mohan. That was my first impression of you. And I think somebody asked me once again, how or what wisdom means. How do you describe someone as being wise? And I don't know why I came up with that response. Or maybe I read that somewhere else. I don't know. But what I said was, a wise person is someone who's in full control of the bridge between trigger and reaction, right? Life is full of triggers, happy and sad, all sorts of emotions, but not reacting to that requires being in control of that bridge. And I always describe, Mohan, you're an embodiment of that description. I don't think any of us have seen Mohan feeling a bit anxious, or I'm sure maybe he is, but he never shows it in any shape or form. And I've always admired that. And many of us here in the room try to emulate that, Mohan. And according to what I hear from colleagues since I joined WorldFish, I think your contribution to WorldFish is beyond the excellence in science. Everybody respects and admires the level of contribution, be it in building the aquatic animal health work from the ground up, from zero, right? And that was not enough. He went on to build the country program in India, right? What an incredible legacy. But also, do we have colleagues from PMU, HR, finance, etc., who often speak to you as an example of someone who does the job brilliantly well? I'm not sure if they express that to you, but honestly, I've heard this from many colleagues, who say, oh my God, it's a dream to work with Mohan, or, he's an incredible person. What an amazing legacy to leave, not just for your brilliance in science, but I think the fact that, you do your job so well is also, I'm sure, comes from your respect towards others as well, Mohan. Sorry, I've got a cheat sheet here, a few words. And the other one is, I think quite a few people have said that, and I think you recognize this, overall your efficiency, the way you work. I think the first time I heard that about you was from Anar, who was a former PMU lead, who described you as an incredibly efficient person. So all of us, I think many of us in the room, including myself, have got a lot to learn from your wisdom and the way you do things so well, Mohan. But again, I think, yes, he may wish to go and retire, but unfortunately, we won't let you, right? So, in fact, I'm very pleased to announce to colleagues that Mohan will be our very first emeritus scientist for WorldFish. This is history in the making, and I think couldn't have been any better person than Mohan, to be remembered in WorldFish history to be the very first emeritus scientist. Many of you have seen me wear pocket squares. Yeah, this is one of them. And this is for Mohan. Here is our brilliant emeritus scientist, Mohan. Emeritus scientist role is what we introduced last year through the approval of our board, which is a role reserved for individuals who made significant or extraordinary contribution to the advancement of knowledge and the mission of WorldFish. And therefore, very pleased to announce that today. So what this means is that it's never goodbye. It's more like au revoir, or see you in a bit, right? So Mohan, starting from May, I think he'll be with us as an emeritus scientist. So you will see him every now and then, I hope, be it here in HQ or somewhere else, wherever this mission may take us. So thank you, Mohan. Thank you very much.
So I think, Mohan, now it's over to you. If there is any last words that you would like to finish with after we have, everyone has shared their kind words, and because that's the legacy and the impact that you have had at WorldFish, and we all wish you the very best. But at this
Nothing much to say. As I told right in the beginning, I found this place a very happy ecosystem. So I wish this micro ecosystem of happiness, flourish, continue. More and more young staff members come, dedicate themselves to the organization mission, vision, work and achieve there what they want to achieve. But this ecosystem, not only the science ecosystem, even the beautifully kept campus, the garden, and many times if you're really stressed, just take a walk in the beautiful campus By the time you complete one round around the field, your stress levels would go down. So I used to normally do a lot of walks around. Nowadays, I found two youngsters, Rahimi and Sean, to play table tennis during lunchtime. So the beautiful campus, I really loved and enjoyed. So I'm not leaving WorldFish. I'm retiring with a lot of happiness from WorldFish because 49 years, 22 years in the College of Fisheries, Mangalore as assistant, associate, and full-time professor. Nearly 12 years in the network of aquaculture centers in Bangkok in development, and 10 years in CJR. And to work for CJR was my dream also. So I'm very happy that I could, achieve that. Again, thanks to my parents, my family, and the gods we believe in. So I'm really pleased with this. And again, I wish all of you very happy times ahead. And in my new role, what the HR and Assam have put for me, I do not know what tasks will be there, but at least I'm very happy to accept the role of emeritus scientist for WorldFish and try to do what little I can in terms of providing my time for the betterment for the organization and betterment of youngsters and individuals in this system. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohan, and we wish you all the very best for your well-deserved retirement. Thank you. Thank you all.